Welcome back. If you are just joining us, well, you haven't really missed a whole lot because, of course, we've dealt with newspaper review, our big stories of the week, and this is the major interview for today. We want to talk about tourism. We know that in all over the world, apart from in Nigeria, because I don't want to just put it, limit it to Nigeria, all over the world, anything that has to do with tourism is a big deal. Let's take, for example, the UAE, where Nigerians, go all the time. Tourism has been something that has, generated a lot of revenue for Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. Let us not talk about Kenya, Ethiopia, and Santorini, the place that will save a whole lot of money to go invest there. But Nigeria, we are still lagging behind when it has to do with tourism. We have one of the biggest, tourist sites, a whole lot of them, various tourist sites in Nigeria, but we're still lagging behind. So we have a tourist expert. He has toured a lot of places around the world and, of course, both national and internationally, and is into tourism. We have Joshua Odufua, who is a tourist expert. He will be taking us through the challenges, the prospects, the economic advantage that tourism can birth for Nigeria. You're very much welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
So how are you doing this morning?
I'm fine.
Okay.
You?
I'm doing great. As you can see, I'm doing very great. All right. Okay. So let's go straight to the topic. Tourism. First of all, well, since you are well aware about how tourism has fared in over the years, and you know how much, when we were speaking of air one certain time, you mentioned a certain amounts that a certain project, if pumped into the tourist sector in Nigeria, would generate for the economy. So I would just like you to take us through, how do you think that Nigeria can harness the tourism sector in such a way that it's going to bring forth revenue for the economy? Let's start with that.
Thank you very much. Tourism is one of the most lucrative sector we are looking at sector that boost economy most. Tourism is one of them, and it's a sector that actually has a lot of potentials. But it's a pity that Nigeria is yet to unveil some of the potentials because they are still hidden. Being the giant of Africa, we need to exploit that particular sector very well.
Yeah.
In fact, in United States, tourism and creative industry have actually created five times more than the GDP of what they are getting from other sectors like agri and other things. But being that our focus is on crude oil and we don't really have any focus on that tourism. And tourism, if it's well exploited, is even more than crude oil in terms of revenue generation. Because nobody wants to stay in one place. You have to move from one place to the other. And as a result of that, you have to spend money, no matter what. Either little or small, you must spend money to move yourself an inch from where you are. So tourism is an adventure, is a sector that federal government need to look into very well so that it can be able to get what it's really hidden in it.
Okay, so tourism and creativity works hand in hand. I have noticed over time that there are places that you will go, you will not really see the tourist attraction until creativity is put in place. So when it's now put in place, you now say, is it not this place that we used to visit that they now turned into this thing? Now, I'd like you to put us through the world of creativity. How can Nigeria or Nigerians are creative.
Yeah.
That one, you can't take it from them. But how can they turn this creativity to money? How can we invest on creativity? I'd like to know that. Because it goes hand in hand with, tourism.
Yeah.
So how can that work?
Actually, creativity in the very, very divine context is is something, it's an innovation, an idea that you conceive in your mind, and you put it down in a paper, waiting for action and waiting for execution. So, and ideas, what is business? No, creativity actually is in line with business, because whatever you conceive, you put it down in paper, and when you put it down in paper, you have to make it executed, so that you can. So, creativity industry is an industry that we need to actually give, especially the young youth and women, because their level of intellect now is very, very high, more than our olden fathers. So they can think, they can put something down. They can, in some other countries, most of the things we are looking at that are actually being in production or we are using now, most of them are being created by young children, of which the parents leave them and give them a very large atmosphere to exploit that talent. But in Africa, especially in Nigeria, we need to actually give our youth, give our women the chances to actually think and be creative, so that whatever ideas they conceive can be put down in paper, and whatever they put down in paper is be waiting for execution. And anything is even executed, that is business, definitely is going to generate revenue to boost the GDP of the country. So, of which individual in the creative industry has a responsibility of actually boosting the revenue of a country in the area of creative aspect and the area of ideas that actually brings about business enhancements.
Okay, so mentioning implementation, it takes me to a whole lot of people who have tried, a lot of businesses. I know a lot of individuals who have one way or the other tried to invest. They don't have the money, they don't have the capability to, but they have ideas. They have serious ideas that when it is put in place, it will really, bet a lot of things for them. And, finances is a huge challenge. I'd like you to take us through the challenges these people face. I know that probably you would also, one way or the other, have one project or the other that would be able to add into the economy, that you want to sell to government and say, if you're able to implement this, wow, would be able to generate a lot of money. Just tell us the bottleneck that your and the likes of these other investors face, and how it can be, curbed.
Thank you. Actually, in the creativity and tourism industry, when I started earlier then, I faced a lot of challenges. And not that the challenges are finished. No, once you go deep, the challenges will be more. But the experiences you had will be able to pave way for you in the midst of the challenges. I remember when I started tourism in proper. Tourism proper. And I remember the challenges I faced. I started the tourism adventure in my state, in Ogun State, of which I approached the Ministry of Culture and Tourism in Ogun State then, and I have a company, registered company, which I use for the tourism promotion and development in Nigeria. So I penned down the proposal, I submitted it, then they looked at it, and they granted it. They directed me to necessary media houses to be able to give me, and a lot of support were given to me, and even the state government too gave me some kind of a clear atmosphere to be able to explore some places, of which those places I tried to touch them. In Ogun State, I touched Olumo, I touched a particular place at Emeko, I touched Blikisu Oshugbo in Ogun State, because that was where Queen Sheba came, traveled down all the way to, he passed through that place. And that place is a bit an mystery of which everybody will want to go and see and watch what is happening there, because the tomb of that woman is like a very large feat, because she's very tall and a lot of people want to see the tomb, because that's where she was buried. Yeah. So, and I tried to explore those places with medias, people, and fortunately it was really successful before I moved to other states. So later on I moved to Nasarawa State, where I approached the state government through the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, and I was very, very fortunate for Engineer Abdullahi Sule to grant that proposal, of which he gave me a very clear atmosphere, which I explored some sites of which even the state government, they don't even know that they exist.
That's what I'm talking about.
They don't even know that they exist, but people want to know. And those places, they can make millions of dollars.
Not even naira.
Not even naira, millions of dollars. Because the Canada, the US that we are going, although they have their natural tourist attraction site, but most of them are artificial. They constructed them. But what we have in Nigeria is pure natural. It's what you can feel that is natural. There's a waterfall in Nasarawa State. They call it Ferura Waterfall.
Yes, Farin Ruwa. I've been there before.
I took some media there when I was doing the documentary for them. In fact, when I got there, I have to lay down and start praising my God that no, you are indeed a mighty one. Because all what I saw there was nothing but natural.
Yes.
The water was cold, as if you put it in the freezer. There's a part of that waterfall that is hot, where you can drink, take and use to take a tea. You can sleep. In fact, even by the time you even get closer to the waterfall, the breeze that welcomes you, you will like, wow, am I in a room with AC? So, and those people don't know all those things were actually there, and they want to come and see. So, and as a result of that, because I could remember when I got there, then I paid a tour guide fee, of which those money are the area that government used to generate their money. So that by with those tourism investors, tourism stakeholders, we'll be able to converse for people to come and see. Come and see. Stop wasting dollars to go and watch artificial tourist attraction outside your country. Bring them to Nigeria. We have a lot of them, plenty. The same thing I did in Osun State, because a lot of tourists that are in Osun State. There's one at Okela in Osun State. And that waterfall is coming directly from inside the rock, natural.
So
like
that's like a spring water.
Like a spring. God bless you, my sister. Like a spring. And that place, before we get there, is like 2 to 3 hours journey. But if you don't mind that hour journey, in fact, you enjoy visiting the site. Cool. In fact, very remote area, and people are like, oh, this thing exists in this area. People don't want to know. And there's one too in that Osun State, a lamp that no kerosene, nothing. Then in those days, you just once it is night, it light by itself. I don't
understand. What lights by itself?
A natural lamp.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. It's an Osun State. So, and even the King Palace on Ife too, a lot of places to exploit there, and so many other states like that. So, but people don't know, but we want them to know. That is why we are making those places clear for people to see. And those are the things that creative industry does. Because if you are not creative, you don't put down the ideas in paper, you can't execute it. So, government should give room to young youths and women to be able to think and bring up ideas. And you should actually try to get maybe a bank that can actually finance small, medium, and enterprise to give them loan, a soft loan that don't even give them much stress to get with a very little interest, because no matter what, they have to get interest. But if government can do that, a lot of people will actually bring most of the ideas they put down in paper, they will execute it with the loan that you want to give them. As of now, there's one actually pushing with the now Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Art, Culture and Creative Economy on a project event. When I approached and said, well, these are the events that are very, very good, that will attract a lot of investors into the countries to be able to invest. Because investors need to come to the country, and investors will see what will attract them before they can come. All those places, it's not something that is artificial, it's natural. Like that of Ferura, federal government want to enlarge the place, and they at the end of the day, we could not get anything from them. But if federal government can invest in that, all those places like that, in fact, a lot of revenue will come back, even in dollars, not even in naira. The people are ready to pay any amount of money to visit all those tourist attraction site to see the natural being, the natural existence of Almighty God.
All right, okay, so we'll be moving on, but before we go, we have a whole lot to talk about. And what have you been saying is really compelling, knowing that we have a whole lot in this country lying fallow and we're not generating any sort of revenue when we need revenue generation at this point in time in this country. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss more about it. So if you think about changing that, don't do that now, because we are still going to talk about a whole lot. We still haven't treated the challenges, we still haven't treated the prospects, the opportunities, just in case you want to delve into tourism, or just in case you really want to think about what you're going to do to earn a side income. This is for you. So just stay tuned, don't touch the dial. We will be right back. The tourism industry. I am smiling because, of course, who doesn't like a good vacation? Who doesn't like to, unwind, visit tourist sites, enjoy yourself after a very hard work? So we have a tourist expert, a tourism expert here. He is a tourist that has traveled wide. And before the break, we're talking about the challenges and the prospects that the tourism industry can give Nigeria, especially in terms of revenue generation, in terms of job creation, and a whole lot. And then we asked him about, that is Dari Joshua
Breaking news
Udufua,
stories,
who is
insightful
a tourist
documentaries,
expert.
news
We're
reports.
asking before the challenges that is being faced when you were mentioning the state governments that you've approached with proposals on how well, to develop tourism in Nigeria and how well to sell your ideas to them. But you haven't mentioned the challenges you face in all these things, because the part you talked about was the success, as you have done. And of course, you said that the deeper you go into it, the deeper the challenges. But you have not told us, could you just tell us about some of these challenges that your kind of person and the host of a lot of other people face when trying to bring up this proposal and when trying to, invest in tourism in Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much. There are a lot of challenges that I face and some of the tourism stakeholders too face. One of the challenges is, one, financing. Most of the projects, at times, they might not be in the budget or the federal government budget. So we have to source for the fund. And by the time you source for the fund, you have to present a very, very attractive proposal that has a prospect that people can be able to put their resources, put their money into. And you have to explain and explain and explain a lot of things to them. Take your time. Because if you are in tourism industry, you have to be tolerant. Because you meet a lot of people with different attitude, with different behavior. So once you are focused and you are not diverted, and you have the passion for what you are doing, because in the tourism industry, the passion must be there. If passion is not there, you are just wasting your time. Because since I started my tourism adventure, I've never put on any other clothes on other than local fabric. Most of my wardrobes are local fabric made dresses. So just to tell them that what we have, we must promote it to the world to see. When even the Oyinbo people, the white men, are putting on our local fabric, how much more we? Why can't you promote what we have? So those are the challenges. So if you are not tolerant, don't go into it. If you are not patient, don't go into it. If you are the type that looking for hurried money, don't go into it. Those are the challenges, because you need to work, put your money into it. Even before the government could actually, I could remember when I did the one in Nasarawa State. I submitted a proposal to them with the support of the director of tourism there. The man fabricated the proposal, everything, submitted to engineer Abdullah Sule then. They requested for the worst places I have gone to. I gave them pictures and everything. Of which those places, most of them, it was self-funded. And even the one I did in Ghana, in Accra, the one I did in Benin Republic, at Cotonou and Port Novo, and the one I also did in Sierra Leone. So I show it to them 2 weeks after, 2 or 3 weeks after the proposal was approved. Normally in government stuff, they will deduct a lot of things, and not knowing that all those what they are deducting is affecting the production. But you as a professional, you as an expert, whatever they release, just manage it and be able to push that project so that your work will speak for you and be able to call you the next time, not minding the amount of money they release. So because they will not know what you have put in place, the stress, the resources, and everything. But they want to, okay, government stuff is the project must be done. That is their own. So you have to go extra mile to make sure that things are done, and the people work power that you're going to use, you have to be the one to get them their money and everything. Those are the challenges. But in short, you have to be patient, you have to be tolerant, and you have to know what you are doing. If you don't know what you are doing, you're out of the game. Because you are going to be frustrated. You are going to be treated as if you are animal. But if you are focused and determined and know what you are doing, you will achieve your aim and goal in the tourism industry.
Yes. All right. Now this one now is sort of like a pep talk for people that's for investors who are interested in the tourism industry. So we would like you to narrow down the challenges that the government should address.
Yeah.
What are those things that you think are not right? What are those things that you want to change? For example, when writing a proposal, even submitting it alone. I know that I've written a few proposals at times, submitting it, following it up and all of that. You meet somebody who will just shabbily tell you they are not around and bang the door on you and expect that you should leave if you know that I've told you that they are not around. So, there are some things you would like to change, or there are some changes you would like to see being made in government, in the places that you go to seek all this, all these audiences, and of course, other investors also seek audience. What are those changes we would like to see in government offices?
Thank you very much. I really thank God that we have a new administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a person that he has a very wide experience in tourism and creative industry himself, because he traveled wide, and is also a scholar. And those are the areas that government, especially federal government, and the new minister that were actually inaugurated to look into, is they should try to encourage the investors and the stakeholders, the experts. Anytime a proposal is sent to their ministry, they should take their time to look at it, scrutinize it very well, give them guidelines. The one that is inside their budget, they should encourage them to process the fund in time to do the project. The one that is not inside the budget, they should tell them so that they will be able to source for the fund in time, so that by the time they do the first one and second one, I'm talking about the one out of the budget, so that it can be incorporated into the budget, because a lot of ideas are coming up, and those ideas are purposely for promoting the image of the country, because image of the country can be promoted through creative industry, apart from other sector, through creative industry and tourism and venture. Let people see what we have. Let people come and enjoy what we have. The food, everything that we have, let's come and see what we have. So a lot of project is going on, and they should try to encourage the young entrepreneurs in the tourism industry, especially the youth and the young women who are coming in mass to invest in tourism industry. They should not treat them as if they don't have a job. Because it's not easy for someone to sit down, put down idea, being guided with the people at the CAC, Corporate Affairs Commission. So far your complaint is registered, you have the IC number, you have your tax, everything. They should try to give them audience in any way they need their audience. Guide them, give them guideline, fabricated their proposal in a way that it will suit what you have, and so that they will be encouraged that, oh, I think this is a very good line, let me venture into it. And at the same time, that one is actually creating job for all those investors, for all those stakeholders, because not everybody will get political appointment. Not everybody will get mind to go into any other sector of businesses or big politics. But people that have the mind of going into tourism industry, going into creative industry, will give them opportunity, will give them a welcoming hand. In the area of funding, those proposals that are not inside the budget, they should try to get a bank, a particular bank, where they can direct them to. Okay, you have this, you have it, okay, go to this bank. Tell them proposal, tell them that you have been written to the ministry, okay, what's their response, okay, this one, give them the cost quotation of everything, and tell them to guide you on how that fund will be gotten, and use it exactly on what you're written to them to do. Because many people, at times, they will go and write a proposal to do something and use the money to do something else.
So it may not be their fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it may not be the fault from the federal
yeah,
government
so
sometimes.
do that, they will be conscious. Whatever you put down as a proposal to the ministry or to any government parastatal or any agency, you should try as much as possible to make sure that that thing is what you are executing. Don't go extra, so that they will not look at an unserious person or an entity in the industry.
And it won't spoil show for other people.
That's it. Not spoil the opportunity of other people of getting such advantages in the industry.
All right. Okay. So I'd want to ask this very scary question. It's scary because, you know, when somebody robs you of your intellect, it can be painful, especially when you're not able to prove it. Do you risk being robbed of your intellect? Do you risk, or have you had any experience of you submitting a proposal, they turned you down, but you later see that proposal being executed?
I didn't get your question.
Okay, yeah. What I'm trying to say now is that you submit a proposal to a particular ministry or organization, and they tell you that, oh, this proposal, I don't think we can take it, we can't do it, go. Then later you see that proposal that you submitted, they are implementing exactly what you suggested, exactly what you put down. It is very heartbreaking if it happens. So has it happened to you before?
Yeah, it has happened to me.
Okay, so how do investors prevent this kind of occurrence? Is it preventable?
Actually, when the incident happened, I consulted some of my colleagues in the industry, and they guided me on what to do. And since then, I've been conscious and cautioned of dropping proposal to unrecognized government agency, unrecognized organizations, because the truth is that most of them, they don't have ideas, but they have resources. Once your own proposal comes in, they will just adopt it, put their money to execute it. So how would we expect such kind of youth who sat down to pen down a proposal? It's not easy to pen down a proposal, because for you to pen down a proposal, you're penning down ideas. And for you to pen down ideas, which means you have conceived a lot. And for you to conceive a lot, which means you have moved around to see a lot of things. So what we move around to see a lot of things, okay, well, this thing is good, let me just now put it together and put in a paper, so that it will be more readable and more accessible for people, and approach those organizations that can make this thing come to reality. Another day, you now see someone going behind and using their resources, power to execute this. Someone feel embarrassed. I experienced that 23 years ago, and what I did was that I filed a petition against such organization, and I was guided legally that I should not take any action that will abort or that will dent the image of my company, that I should withdraw the petition and everything, which I did. But later on, I tried to, because those are the challenges you are going to face in the industry. But despite that, you should not relent. You press forward, because there's nothing good that comes easily. They will challenge you. they will ask you, who are you? You are going to tell them that this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. And this, what I'm doing is legitimate. Go anywhere, cut anywhere, you will find it legitimate. It's not something that is hidden. It's not something that is not proper. It's something that people want to know, people want to see, people want to hear.
Okay, all right. So you said that you consulted people when it happened, people of like minds, or people who are more knowledgeable when it happened. So for other people that find themselves into that thing and they see that their intellect is being stolen, what should they do?
Well, for people that find themselves in such kind of situation, I will advise them to calm down.
Oh.
To calm down, be patient, and they should stand firm on their feet to defend what is right. They should not take any action that will bounce back on their investment personality or on their own personality. If there's any means to solve it amicably, they should look for it. Because in the tourism industry, legalism is not allowed, fight is not allowed, more than tolerance and patience. You have to be tolerant, you have to be patient, and you have to know what you are doing. But once they know that you know what you are doing, they will not disturb you anymore. But those are the challenges you will face, because they will have to challenge you, better to know, for them to know that you know what you are doing. But once you can show to them that you know what you are doing and you are ready to face any consequences that come thereafter, definitely they will give you a room. They will allow you, and they will give you necessary support that is within their capacity.
Okay, so of course, at the moment, we are not nursing, we're not tapping the resources that is being channeled into the tourist sector and the tourism industry. But we cannot still deny that we have tried one way or the other. So how would you rate overall how the tourism industry in Nigeria is today? How would you rate at least the little? I've been to Farinruwa waterfall, I've been to Gorara, I've been to there's this castle in Kaduna. No, there's this castle in Kaduna. Forgotten the name of the castle just now, but when I remember that, I'll be able to say it. I've been to quite a whole lot of destinations, and even here in Abuja, Zuma Resort, a whole lot of places. I've been there and I see that they are doing really well. So how would you commend the stride of tourism sector now in Nigeria? How would you rate the stride that they've gone through?
Actually, right, as of now, we thank God that the new administration is performing, and we, as President Bola Ahmed do say, that is a renewed hope. So let's have a renewed hope, and we are trying, but it's not 100%, because there's some countries like US, like Israel, like South Africa, even the one in Africa, African continent, most of what boosts their GDP is tourism. Morocco, they have a very reasonable percentage that tourism boosts in their GDP. So if Nigerian can actually give room for young entrepreneurs, for young stakeholders, for young women and youth in the industry, in the creative industry and tourism industry, to exploit their talent, to exploit their idea, encourage them, give them chances, in fact, it's going to improve the tourism sector and going to increase it in a very reasonable percentage that will be added to the GDP of the country. But as of now, we can still rate it as something normal, not really 100%, because we are still lagging behind in some areas, which we have to improve in some of the sites we have. Those sites are lying fallow. Nobody knows where they are. Nobody knows where they are. Nobody knows their resources. Nobody. So we have to expose them. Let people see. Let people come outside the country to come and visit it. Let them bring their resources to come and spend on it. As we are going out of the country to spend our own resources to their tourist attraction, let them come and see what we have. Like Yoruba adage, which says, "Nani nani nani owani nani, alapata nani obe ashegita nani ekoigi." You should allow what we have to be valued. If we value what we have, people outside the world will value it for us. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That was a good one from Dare Joshua Odufuwa. Well, you said a whole lot about tourism. You have spoken on the challenges, the prospects, the things that tourism industry can, the tourism sector in Nigeria can, do for Nigeria, aside the crude oil, that it is the next crude oil that Nigerians can look up to. Unfortunately, this is where we'll be drawing our curtains for today. So if you are just joining us, still you haven't missed, you can always stream live and go back to all that we have had to do today. So, like I said, well, I wish you all the very best. Lovely weekend, and this week I remain at Tinuke Nuke. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us same time next week on the program. To have a lovely weekend.